right? So I put an order, I need to transform that into invoice message. That is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
How I am going to do that? So simple. Create another message and call it as output message. And same thing, specify your message type to invoice. Earlier we specified order, and now we are going to specify invoice. Okay? So once that is done, go to toolbox again, and there is a transform shape. Okay? So this transform shape helps you to transform messages from one schema to another schema. So drag your transform shape into the orchestration. So once it is dragged into the orchestration, you can see this transform shape is inside a construct message shape. Because any new message inside an orchestration can only be constructed inside a construct message shape. So the transform shape is always wrapped into a construct message shape. It cannot be existing without a construct message shape. So this is the construct message shape. Now it will click on the construct message shape and you need to specify properties of it. So it will ask what is the message constructed. So click here. We are constructing out message. So select the out message. Okay. And now just rename it so it will be more meaningful. Okay, construct invoice message. And now transform shape. So double click the transform shape. Transform shape is nothing but specifying your map. So it is asking you whether you are going to create a new map or use an existing map. So I'm going to say I will use an existing map because I already have my map defined inside orchestration. Sorry, inside this project. So I'll say existing map. Once I say existing map, it will create a drop down and it will show all the maps existing in this project. So we already created this convert order to invoice map. Select it. Now it's asking for source and destination for this map. Source is input message, destination is output message. That's it. So we specified the existing map, selected the source and destination, click OK. So we are done with the transform shape. So now we received the message, transformed into another message. Now we just need to send it out. So same thing. Drag a send shape into your orchestration. Okay, so the same way you drag the receive shape, drag a send shape. Now we need to bind this send shape with the send port. So right click on the port surface again, new configured port, next, and this is my invoice port. Next, and same thing, because this is a one-way port, I am not receiving anything, I am just sending it. Okay, so this is a one-way port and internal. Next, and here port direction will be, I am always sending the message. Earlier it was receiving the messages, now it is sending the message, and keep specify letter as it is. Next, finish. That's it. So our invoice port is also ready. Now assign the send shape with out message. So the same way we assigned receive shape with input message, assign the send shape with output message. Select out message here and combine that with your send port. This is like logical send port. Okay, so once you combine that, your orchestration is done. So the same same thing I am doing using the receive port and send port. I am doing it here using the orchestration instead of using a send port. Okay. Now the same thing. I need to make sure it is assigned with the signing key, which we already did earlier.
Yeah.
So make sure it is there, and then deployment. Deployment, you don't need to specify anything as of now. Just make sure it is signed properly. That's it. Now deploy this project. So it's trying to deploy the project here. So deploy is succeeded. Now the development part is done. Now let's go back to administration console. Biztalk 2010, Biztalk server administration. And as usual, if you go back to your Biztalk application 1 and check your orchestrations, okay. So we only have our orchestration here.
Okay.
So orchestration is like project name and the orchestration name. Okay, now if you double click this, on the left hand side you can see bindings and tracking. The bindings are the important thing. So go to binding section. Now it is asking what is the host it is running under. So by default we'll select the default host, and then it's asking what is the inbound port and what is the outbound port. So the inbound port is receive order and outbound port is send invoice. So if you remember, this is the logical port we created inside the orchestration. What it is asking is bind this logical port with a physical port. So it's automatically going to once you bind this, it automatically acts like a actual physical port where the messages are received from. That means any messages coming from this receive port will automatically be sent to this orchestration. Click OK. Now, if you remember yesterday we created these subscriptions directly on the send port, and we don't need those anymore. So we need to remove the subscription for the send port because we are doing all the mapping and binding the send port within the orchestration, which means orchestration is already bound to the send port and receive port, which doesn't need any special subscription for itself. So we are going to filter section and removing this subscription from here. Apply. And also we need to remove the outbound map because we already did it inside the orchestration. So start the send port, start the orchestration, and